everyone, welcome back to Video Visions. Today is take 6 and we're going to focus on domain 1B, which are those live lesson housekeeping tips that you can use at the beginning of your lesson to leave time for all those important things that need to happen throughout, like collaboration and student engagement and actual content teaching. Do you like my new glasses? My eye doctor says when you get old, your eyes start to go. So I turned 41 at the beginning of July. So I guess this is what's happening. So if you talk to me, would you be so kind as to say, hey, Kristen, are you wearing your glasses? Because evidently it's not something on the forefront of my mind and I keep forgetting them. But as you can see, I'm al natural today. My hair's up, no makeup on. So think about how much your kids would love to see you natural and in real time when they pop into a live lesson. So think about using your camera, even if your hair is not ready or you don't have makeup on, just to say hi to your students. So today, like I said, we are going to focus on the why behind the what with live lesson housekeeping slides. So we're going to talk about some easy to implement ideas that can help with the flow at the beginning of your live lesson. So let's get going. So think about some of these great ideas when planning your first couple of slides in your live lessons. It's always great to find out which learning style our students are so that we can adapt the lesson to meet their needs. For instance, do we have more auditory learners than visual learners? Or maybe we have more visual learners than kinesthetic, and we need to add, more time with pictures or graphics. We need to allow time for movable tiles for my kinesthetic learners. Things like that help you adapt the lesson to meet your students' needs. It's also great to find out where they're at when they come into the lesson. Just because they were supposed to have mastered module 2 doesn't mean they won't come in with some hiccups or misunderstandings that you'll have to plug in knowledge as the lesson continues. It's also great to learn about the student interests because then that makes us and them connect. We feel more human. We have a human connection. Do they like the same football team we do? Do they go on the same trips we do? Do they like Disney World? Things that we can chat with the students throughout the lesson as well as after. It's also good to see where they feel they are on the content we're going to review in this lesson. Because those students that don't have questions, that feel like those rock stars, use them as student experts. Think about, instead of just asking the students, what questions do you have about module 3? Ask them, what do you feel confident in on module 3? And use those students to help teach parts of the lesson. It's also great when we have these really large groups to have something called conversation competitions. Team them, give them different areas to work in. That way you can see who's working and who's not, and they use it as a friendly game and seem to participate more as the lesson goes through. Don't forget to check out these really cool hyperlinks that I've included on some of the slides in today's video on my Video Visions tab on my Google site, because it gives some really great ideas about student experts and how to connect with your students during learning opportunities. So when we talk about the plan and when we look at domain 1B, we want to kind of think about certain guiding questions when setting up those slides. Are we using those bell ringers intentionally? Are we getting those bell ringers to focus on content? Are we getting them to use the microphone and to practice with those Blackboard tools before the lesson even begins? Think about taking a snagget of that little toolbar and placing it on the different slides when you want the students to use various tools. For instance, if you want them to drag and drop a movable tile, go ahead and color in the top box on your toolbar that helps the kids identify how to drag and drop. Also, concentrating on prior knowledge, learning styles, and interests will help your students feel like you truly care about them moving into the lesson. Use the beginning of the lesson to find out where they struggle and where they succeed. Like I said before, those student experts can serve as helpers to you and resources for others. Also, consider welcoming the students on the video. No matter what you look like, no matter whether your hair is done or not, grab a sports hat, grab your new puppy, grab a picture of the vacation that you just took and share it with them so that they know that there's a face behind the voice. So let's talk about some samples that I've seen being used effectively in live lessons. This first one over here, let me grab my highlighter. This first one right here is great because not only does it let the kids set up the microphone, it lets them use the microphone with some risk-free questions, but it also allows the students that telephony option. So many times they'll say that the mic on their computer is not working, but we know they have a cell phone next to them. Have them go ahead and call in. I've even seen teachers practice this so that they see that it's okay. It's not scary. It can be done. This was a really neat getting to know you activity that I found that a teacher was using that talked about trending video games. His entire lesson was teaming, and he teamed the kids Plants versus Zombies. And he spent some time at the beginning getting them to set up their mic, but then using that mic not only to introduce themselves, but to talk about some really fun video games that they're playing. The kids were amazed that the teacher played some of the same games that they did. This is also a great way to get prior knowledge and check concept understanding for your kids. But what I liked was not only did the teacher give 4 to 5 different examples of questions that the students either needed to know coming in or would learn during this lesson, but they gave them possible answer choices so that the teacher could see where the breakdown of the knowledge was. Did the student just not add to both sides? Did the student just not understand one vocabulary term? This really helped the teacher guide the lesson. Don't forget to check some of these links that I've placed here for some multiple intelligence scenario questions and some great prior knowledge ideas as well. So I'm coming back on my video to say goodbye. But please take a moment and think about some of the information that you gather. What do you do with it? Is it just a checkoff box? Is it something that you use to make sure that the kids, feel comfortable in your lesson? What is it that you do with the knowledge that you gather? There I am. I told you sometimes it takes a minute, but it does come back. Please do not forget to check out my Video Visions tab on the Google site. Click on this megaphone and please tell me what you think. I would love to hear your feedback on what you're seeing, what you're not seeing, and what you would still like. So let's talk next time about some things that we can do to amp up those essential questions and our goals and our expectations. Can't wait to talk to you next time. Have a great day.